Okay. Ready? Why have you been away from the limelight for so long?
I think basically it was due to stardom and not being used to that. And
one thing that I didn't mention, my voice isn't going to be in this. So if you could answer in statement form and repeat my question.
I got you now. Okay, I got you. So why
have you been away from the limelight for so long?
Okay, the reason we've been kind of off the scene is basically because the stardom thing, you know, I think it's because you're really not aware and you're not instructed on how to react to becoming a star, a being that big, and how to deal with certain things in certain situations, you know. And it's like we wasn't hip to it. We just went on the road to play, you know, to basically play and entertain people, you know, give up the funk and they give up the funk too, you know, that kind of thing. But we wasn't ready for the other things to come, like the trucks breaking down, you know, hotel bills we had to pay, and we had to make sure people were here and people were there. And, you know, we started having to be involved with the business end of it. And we really wasn't, personally myself, really wasn't ready for that. And then you have to start hiring different people to do this, people to do that, and then you know, your trust start becoming more and more, you know, you don't know who to count on, and, you know, that kind of thing. So it becomes like more out of control. And when you're used to having things under control, like from the set on down, my thing was always hit, bang, bang. I learned a lot from James Brown. That's pretty much the way his thing was. You know, on the set it was always hit, and everybody was real tight, you know. So we tried to run everything that way, you know, and on the set it ran that way too. It's just the business got so big, so fast, everybody just kind of freaked out, you know, and just didn't know how to handle it. And that kind of made me want to kind of bag up a little bit and check it out and see, you know, see what the heck was going on. I got to the point I kind of lost my own identity. You know, it was like Bootsy got so heavy, it was like, you know, I couldn't get a break from that cat, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I figured some time off would give me a better perspective of what's happening, even what am I doing and who am I? You know what I'm saying? I couldn't never come off the set. You know, I come off the stage, I always had to be Bootsy, you know, which was cool at that time. I just didn't know what it was doing to me, you know. And then when we had the time off, I kind of had time to reanalyze what was happening, you know. So I'm glad about that time, and it's like it put me back in perspective. Now I got another view, you know. Now I can be Bootsy when it's time to be Bootsy, and then I can go cool out and do other things that I got to do, you know. So it's all in getting a perspective on what's happening, who you are, where you're at, and what it's all about, you know. So I didn't know how to deal with it at first, you know, the time off, but it's kind of working out because, you know, I got the chance to play with different people, become a musician again. You know, that's the thing I think I kind of lost, you know, because I always had to be with the Bootsy Rubber Band, Parliament, Funkadelic, and never got a chance to really play with other musicians, you know. And I think now I've had the chance to kind of become a real musician again, you know, and that means more to me now than, you know, the being a star. You know what I'm saying? Because you can really touch people by being a musician, and that's basically where I want to stay at, you know.
What do you think it's going to be like tonight?
What do I think it's going to be like tonight? As far as the gig, I think it's going to be totally insane, and I'm going to love it, you know. I think it's going to be packed. It's going to be crowded. A lot of people is coming out that have been wanting to see the funk, you know, and it's like, you know, and we're just glad to be back together. You know, MACEO, Fred, you know, Gary Scheider, Mike Hampton, Mudbone. Everybody's just so happy to be back together. And I don't know, it's just going to be a big party, you know, a funked up party. Yeah.
How did you come to play with James Brown? If you could talk a little bit about your background.
How we came up with to meet with James Brown was he was always recording in Cincinnati at King's Records. And, you know, I was young. I was about 14 when I first realized that maybe there's a possibility if I hung around the studio long enough, he might see me, you know, and he might get interested in, you know, showing us the ropes or something. You know, that was a far cry from what was happening. But we figured if we hang around, we can bug him, you know, maybe we can get to meet the musicians and meet him, you know. So that's what the angle we took. You know, we just hung around the studio. And by hanging around the studio, this guy named Charles Sperling, he kind of pulled us in, and we started doing rhythm section work with him. And then somebody else seen us, Henry Glover, that was doing Arthur Prysock. Arthur Prysock, Bill Doggett. They kind of seen us, and next thing you know, we started doing session work with them. And the next thing you know, we was doing a bunch of session work over Kings, and that's how James Brown got to hear about us. We started doing all the session work over there, and as a matter of fact, we were doing everybody but him. So it's like it started off from there. Just working over there at Kings, and we ran into MACEO and them. We met them, and every time they came over, we just was over there just to listen and watch and see what we can catch. And because we idolized all them cats. We were more so in the band, more so than James. I mean, everybody was into James, but we were more so into the band, the musicians, because they were the cats, I mean, James was calling the stuff out, but the musicians was definitely the ones we were interested in, So we got a chance to meet everybody and hung out a little bit, So that's pretty much where it started from. And I think what happened was when James really needed us, that's probably where it really stemmed from, because he called us because he knew we knew everything. We knew the whole show. It was just like having his band. So when he called us, he knew that, and what had happened, he had some problems with the old band. And when he called us, Bobby Bird came and picked us up in the Learjet. We flew from Cincinnati. We were doing a benefit concert on Gilbert Avenue in a place called the Wine Bar. I never will forget it. We were doing a benefit. I don't know who was benefiting, but we wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So they came and picked us up from there, flew us down to Columbus, Georgia. That was our first gig with James Brown, and that was in I think it was the end of '69. That was our first gig, and from there we just became the road band, and all the rest of it is funk history.
What is funk?
What is funk? Funk to me is a way of life. I think we came up funky. I mean, it's loose, and when you get to a certain point, you can't deal with it. You just say, "Oh, funk it." It's just you've had it. You had enough, and it's a lifestyle. Everything is on the one. So funk is a way of life to us. And it's coming up in the streets. And it's being funky. It's doing what comes funky to you. Funk is a style. Funk got style. So when you see people coming in off the streets, they might call it something else today or tomorrow, but it's all in funk. It's all in funk, because that's what the street is all about. And you learn to live that way. So that's basically where we were coming from. And we just expressed it through music, And that's the best communication we could come up with, because that's what we did best. So it's basically what it is.
Colin, when did you realize that you had the funk?
I always knew I had something. I just didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? When I was going to school, I knew something was happening. I just didn't know. I just had to hook up with the right chemistry. I guess that's what it was. And by hooking up with James, I think that really put me in perspective of what I had and which way I was going. So I kind of clocked in on what was happening, and I found out what crime it was. You know what I'm saying? So by hooking up with him, I think that set us straight on, which way we going. So and I also knew when we got with James, we wasn't going to be there for like as a band as a long time, because when we got there, bands were going through a transition of being in the front. Like Sly and the Family Stone, the bands was like up front. Jimi Hendrix, all the bands were coming to the front. You had your singer, but everybody else was up on front. It was no more the singer being out front by itself. The bands were moving up. And we had that in the back of our heads too. And we knew James was going to be like a real good learning experience, for us, even at a young age. So and we never regret being there. That's probably the best thing that ever could have happened to us. So from there, we just went on. But that's where I think it started at.
What's P-Funk?
P-Funk is the purest form of funk that you can get. That's a mixture of the funk that I brought to what George was doing. George was doing the funkadelic thing, and I think I brought the groove from James, and we combined it and called it P-Funk. And P-Funk is the purest form of funk you can get.
In whose music do you hear your influence the most?
Wow, that's a deep one. Well, I mean, I hear a lot of it, you know. It's just as far as who's doing it the most. I mean, everybody's funking, you know. I can't say who's doing it the most. It's just there, and it's not mine to give, you know. It's just, you know, it's there. You know, I can't say who's doing it the most. Everybody's doing it, you know. So, you know, we just coming back in the pitching to take hold of the reins and say we're back with the P-Funk.
What do you want to be remembered for most?
Most? Let's see. What do I want to be remembered for most?
These questions are pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see. I don't know. Just making people feel good. You know, when they come to the concerts, giving off a good thing and trying to, you know, direct the kids in the right way. You know, without preaching. You know, having some fun with it, and you know, letting them see us another side to life than being miserable. And you know, anybody can make it, anybody can do it. All you got to do is stick to it, because they was telling us the same thing, that we were crazy, and you know, it could never happen. Our music don't sound like the format on the radio. And to the rappers, you know, it's the same thing. The rappers is going through the same thing we went through. You know, radio give you no play, and you know, you're too black, you're too this, you're too that, you know, and we went through the same thing. But I think what kept us together was the family, the P-Funk family. We were all saying funk when funk wasn't legal. You know, it wasn't the right thing to say. We were saying it anyway. And it's a form of rebellion, but, you know, hey, you know, that's where we were at, you know. And like I say, I think by us sticking together and getting out here on the road and letting people feel what we were all about, that's what took us over, because there was no videos, you know, and like I said, we wasn't getting no airplay. So when we got out here and the people seeing what the funk was going on, it was like, yeah, that's what crime it is, you know. So it's the same thing that's happening with the rappers, you know, they getting out in front of the people and taking it to the street, you know, and then that's, the people are demanding that, hey, we gotta hear some of these records, you know, and that's why they're being played now more, you know, because the people are demanding it, you know. It's the same thing with the funk. Same thing. So we're back, you know.
I'm going to change tracks a little bit here and now get into a little bit of your personal life.
Yeah.
Why do you still live with your mother in Cincinnati?
With my mother. Why am I still living with my mother? Let's see. I never thought about it. What's a good feeling?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can we hold the work on the stage for just a minute?
Sorry. Yes, sir. Did you want me to keep going?
Start again.
Okay.
Why do you still live with your mother in Cincinnati?
Why do I still live with my mother? Good question. Never thought about it, but I think, I don't know, it's like that family thing. It's probably the only family that I got. And when you're doing the kind of thing that I'm doing, it's like, I feel you gotta have somebody you can trust totally, you know. And until she's gone, we'll always be together, you know. And I don't know, I think that's what keeps me happening. You know, that mama's boy thing, you know, it's probably true, but I'm proud of it. I'm glad, you know, and she taught me a lot, and you know, whatever I can give back, I'm gonna give it, you know, for as long as she's here, you know. And I just like it, you know. I mean, it's, you know, I didn't have a daddy thing, you know, so my daddy was gone before I was even around, what, 3, 4, you know. So I don't know, I just clinged on to mom, you know, and I'm glad about it. Yeah, because like I say, that's what's happening with a lot of kids too. You gotta have somebody, you know. You gotta have somebody, and if you ain't got nobody, then you go look for somebody, and it might be the wrong somebody. You know what I'm saying? So you know, we kind of got out on a good foot on that one. Yeah.
Why did she nickname you Bootsy?
That's another good question. That's another good. I asked her that the other day, and she just told me, you know, I came out looking like a Bootsy. Okay. I didn't understand it, you know, and I thought I was hip. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's the way that went down. I have no idea.
Describe the lifestyle you led at the peak of your success.
Oh, wow. Boy, let's see. Well, how fast did the fastest car go? They have those in Europe, right? Well, I think we were running about that speed, you know, and it's like non-stop. And you're doing some of everything. I mean, whatever it is, it's like you in the middle of everything that you could possibly think you want, you can have, you know, and that's pretty much the way it was, you know, putting a long story short, it's like anything you want, you can have it, you know, so we were having it, you know, and plenty of it, you know, and it's like, it went that way, it kept going that way. As a matter of fact, it's set up, it's designed to go that way, you know, and until somebody is telling you about these things and what to look out for, and you know, be sure you check this out, until somebody is actually telling you about these things, everybody goes down the same trip, you know, basically goes down the same trip. And I think we just came out of here because then none of us freak out or die, you know, or drugged all the way out, you know what I'm saying? So we still got a chance, you know, but people like Jimmy, you know, Sly, you know, Donnie Hathaway, a lot of people just don't make it, you know, because of the way it's designed to take you out in 3 years. You know, now I think it's less. It's like a car. How long does a car last? And then before you got to have a new one. You know, so the time span is getting less and less on those things, you know. So same thing with entertainers, you know. So, but I think what kept us around is the thing that we brought up about. It wasn't just the hit records, because we were happening before even hit records. We had hit records. So it's like, I think the foundation of where we came from and what we're about is what kept us around. You know, as long as we didn't freak out or drug out, we still got a chance to come back, you know. So that's where we at now, you know. Being thankful for that chance. Yeah.
You're gonna like this question.
Uh-oh.
What's the most ridiculous or surreal thing that ever happened to you as a result of your stardom?
Ridiculous thing that ever happened to me. Well, it was a few things, but now here's one. We were playing at the Madison Square Gardens, right? We were playing 2 nights, and we were on the way to the gig from Jersey. The limo was coming through the tunnel, Lincoln Tunnel, and it was wall to wall, backed up. I don't know, I think it was an accident or something. George and myself had to change clothes in the limo. Okay, the showtime was 8 o'clock at Madison Square. We were in the tunnel, Lincoln Tunnel. So it was either we get out the car, run through the tunnel, make it to the gig to hit, or sit there and go through that. They wasn't even inching. You know, it was like all the cars were sitting there. Somebody had an accident or something, wasn't no cars moving. We were sitting there in the limo. It was either, and it was 7:45. It was either we get out and run to the gig with our clothes on. You know, I'm talking about with our stage stuff on. The tall boots, everything. We got out and ran all the way to the gig from inside the Lincoln Tunnel. That was the deepest thing that ever happened. And when we got there, we had to go straight on the stage. You know, that was one of the deepest things that ever happened. That was one of them. You know, so I never will forget that one. You know, George broke his heel on his shoe. You know, I mean, we were scuffling. We had dirt everywhere, you know, coming through the tunnel. And we got through there. You know how that exhaust is. We couldn't hardly breathe when we got on. I mean, we were just through, but the show went over great. It was as if it never happened. You know, so I don't know. Maybe those two things, you know, they offset each other. But that was a deep thing that happened to us. Yeah.
Tell us about your fishing trips.
They were pretty deep too, to say the least. Whoa, we used to like to fish in Bermuda Triangle, right? Because we used to catch a lot of fish. But I was like doing the fishing in Bermuda Triangle before I even knew that that's where we were fishing at. George already knew this kind of, you know, he always was up on the, you know, he was up on the books. He kind of turned me on the books and the Easter Island. I mean, the whole trip. So it was like he was up on us fishing in these areas, and I wasn't, you know, I was just fishing, you know. And then one day he kind of said, yeah, you know, we've been fishing in the Bermuda Triangle. And I'm saying, what? You know, and I done heard all these stories and you know, about the Bermuda Triangle, and I mean, just to hear that, and we've been going out there every time we go fishing. That's where we fish at, you know. So once I realized we was fishing out there, I had to come up with some kind of, well, I guess it's cool because we've been out there so many times and nothing ever happened. So I came up with a thing within myself that it's cool. You know, it's George and I guess we safe. You know, and we start feeling like whatever was out there had a certain protection on us. You know, because we really were feeling like something extraterrestrial was happening within. You know, and we still kind of feel like that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's about not of this world. You know, so. Hey, that's where we at right now.
Describe your relationship to your space bass.
Say it again now.
Describe your relationship to your space bass.
Okay, well, it's pretty, it used to be pretty touchy, you know, but now I think we both understand each other, you know. It's like, she gives me my space, I give her her space, and all we want to do is funk together, you know, and without being demanding, right? So it's like, we come up with a mutual agreement, you know, so we pretty much got our thing worked out now. First, you know, we kind of had a little bit of a hassle, you know, because she wanted to play what she wanted to play, and I wanted to play what I wanted to play, and you know, that only works so long, you know. So we kind of came up with a thing, and it's working now. Yeah, we're getting back together. Yeah.
What are you going to be doing this weekend?
What am I going to be doing this weekend? This weekend, whoa, okay, after the gig, what am I going to be doing this weekend? First of all, going back to Cincinnati to set up rehearsal. And we're going to rehearse again for the whole week. And then we're supposed to come back up, you know, to New York to do 2 more gigs up here. And it'll basically be about rehearsing because, like I said, this is the first time we really got back together. So we're really trying to put it all together to make it all like it used to be and better, you know, because everybody's focused now, you know, and everybody done went out and had that experience of being out by yourself and doing this by yourself, and we all know it's about the family. So we're putting it all back together, you know. So we'll pretty much be working together, you know. So, you know, until vacation time, and we're not looking forward to vacation time. I think we had enough of that. Yeah.
Who's your number one hero?
Number one hero, I think it was between Jimmy and Sly and James. I think they were the main forces. Yeah. Matter of fact, I know that. And I picked up a lot of stuff from people like the Beatles, as far as the vocal thing, Elvis. But Jimmy, James, and Sly, I think were my main focal points, you know, and probably always will be, you know, because to me they were the real heroes because they brought to this world what nobody else bought, you know. I mean, far as where I'm coming from, you know, on the funk side of it, they bought it, they had it, you know, and it was like it was more original, you know, because nowadays, you know, it's like it's so watered down, everything is so watered down, you know, you get bits and pieces from here, bits and pieces from there, you know, and of course you're creating something different, but it's nothing as original as when I was checking that out, you know. So I think we're the only ones that's as close to that originality, you know, that's left, you know. So, you know, from there everything is going to have a cut on it, you know, on down. You know, that's why I'm looking forward to just staying out here as long as possible because I know we're the last of the P-Funk. You know, we're the last. After we gone, it's going to be a whole new day. Yeah, a whole new day and whole new samples. You know what I'm saying? So.
You mentioned Jimmy. It's been 20 years since Jimi Hendrix died. Did you meet him?
No, I didn't. As a matter of fact, I was with James when I was supposed to have met him. You know, his girlfriend, Faye, she was with James the same time I was with James, and she was Jimmy's girlfriend. Supposedly had took me over to Jimmy's house the day we played here with James, but it never happened. And that was when I missed him that day. After that, we never got a chance to hook up because he was gone about a couple months later, you know, and we never got a chance to hook up, you know. But that was one of my points that I really wanted to get a chance to do, but never got a chance to hook up, you know.
It just occurred to me, I actually should have you repeat your hero because a lot of kids might not know Jimmy. I mean, they might know it, but I think it probably would be good to say Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. Well,
so let's change the brand for that one. Okay. So who are your heroes?
The heroes when I was coming up to me were Jimi Hendrix, Sly Stone, James Brown. Those were my heroes, you know, from when I was coming up, and they were doing what came funky. You know, and that's what pretty much set me off to a start, you know. It gave me something to work off of, you know. So those were the true heroes, yeah.
What message would you like to put out to Britain?
To Britain?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Message, huh? I'm not good at messages, you know. Message. You know, you know, the whole thing is we just gonna bring the funk back, and you know, we know they like it, and we just want to go out and do it because everybody is reaching out for it, and like I say, you know, we appreciate what they've done for us because they kind of kept it alive when even where we're from is like down on it, you know. So it's like, we like to say we appreciate what they have done, you know, to keep the funk alive. And that's the main thing, because for the message, you know, it's about don't fake the funk or your nose will grow, you know what I'm saying? So we just down with getting it back on the map now, you know, and taking it to the world again, you know. So that's basically where it's at, you know. Yeah.
Now, one more track. I'd like to talk about the music scene now, what you think of house and rap.
I think rap is on the cutting edge. I think that's the most creative thing that's happening now. You know, matter of fact, to me, they're the most creative. That's the most creative thing that's going on now. And they seem like I say, they seem like when we was coming through with the funk, it's about it's about rebellion. You know, it's about, okay, y'all say we can't do this, and we can't, and we saying we can. So they basically saying the same thing we said, you know, and it's like, that's why I can totally identify with it, you know. Sure, you're going to have your ups and downs, your knocks, but I look at it like this. Some people say there's, the sky's the limit. I say there's no walls behind the sky, and you just have to keep reaching, you know. And I think the rap department is definitely going to be doing that because there's no ceiling on it, you know. Once you come up with a certain music, you know, you always have ceilings on it. Like, okay, we call this that, and we identify this with that, and that's what that is. But rap is so, you know, you can do so much with it. It's like it's no ceiling set on it now, you know. Not saying that it won't be none, but as of right now, it's wide open. And it's the most wide open thing that's happening right now, you know. So definitely, I identify with it, you know, because it's coming right from where I came from. Right off the street, you know. So that's what's happening.
What do you think about kids or other artists sampling your music?
I think it was great because it kept the funk alive. You know, I think it's even greater now because we're getting paid from it. You know.
You have to answer that one in statement form.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about people sampling your music?
What I think about people sampling P-Funk records and stuff? I think it's great because that's what pretty much kept the funk alive when we were like, the funk is dead, that's what they said, you know what I'm saying? So I think they pretty much kept the funk alive, and I think it's even better now because they're beginning to give us some, you know, $2 or $3 for sampling us. I mean, it's even better now, you know? So it's like keeping the funk alive and saying, okay, here, okay, we know y'all did it, you know, but we want to use it and we're going to give y'all a certain percentage for it. Everything's great. Everything works out beautiful, you know, so it's great. Yeah, as a matter of fact, keep on with it. You know, I don't see it stopping. You know, I don't see it stopping. I see now what we got to do is make some new funk so they can after they run out of the old funk, they got to sample some new funk. You know, that's the only thing I see. You know, yeah, so that keeps us in the ball game. Yeah.
What new bands do you like?
New bands. Let's see.
Or records or artists?
You know I like Humpty. You know I like the Humpty Dance. You know I like that. Not just because they sample our record, but I like it because it was happening. Okay. That I like. It's a lot of stuff I like. Man, I just can't think of it right off the top. I like Delight. You know the stuff they did. Let's see who else is there. Living Color. I like what they attempt. You know, of course you're going to get hit over the head with certain things, but I like what they're trying to do. Let's see, who else? Wow, there's so many, you know, it's hard to kind of think of it right off the top. But, you know, it's nobody out there right now to me that's like super, you know. It's nobody like that, but you got a few people that's on the cutting edge of it, you know. So, you know, I like it all. You know, it's just what's your taste, you know what I'm saying? It's what's your taste. I know what's needed now is some more funk, you know, because you got to have something to pull from, you know, and once you run out of the records that's already out there, you got to have some new funk. So if can't nobody come up with no new funk, you know, other than the records that's out there, then that's going to be the one, to me, to take it all the way. You know, the one with the new phone. Yeah.
I have one more question because I think we have to stop.
Yeah.
And that is, what is the Pinocchio theory?
Pinocchio theory? Pinocchio theory is really the same theory as the Cinderella thing. It's like when you fake the funk, your nose will grow. In other words, saying like whatever you're doing, it ain't just got to be music. It can be anything you're doing. Dedicate yourself to it. Learn your craft. And regardless of how much money you can make to it, be more concerned with your craft as opposed to how much money you can make. I think it's about putting your priorities, you know. Because when we was coming through, our thing was more about the music. It was more about putting that together. It was more about rehearsing, getting that tight, as opposed to how much money we can make with it. That didn't even come across, you know, until we found out, oh, we can make money with this. We didn't even know. I mean, you know, but nowadays it's a whole new ball game. But you know, still, you know, you kind of got to put your thing in perspective, you know. And I think the kids are kind of getting off on a funny foot with that one, because you know, all you see is the video thing. And you say, oh, I can do that, you know, but it ain't just like that. You know, you might can do that, but the things that come with that, you know, like they see Tyson winning them fights and stuff, but they don't know what Tyson puts in that. They're getting up at 4 and 5 in the morning, you know. So those are the kind of things I think that needs to be talked about, that's not talked about, you know, and kids need to know about, you know. It's the other side of that, you know, and that's pretty much where we want to be strong at, you know, kind of give the kids like a guideline or something to follow, you know, as opposed to just the music. What does it take to get there, you know, that kind of thing. And we want to be able to say, hey, you know, check it out. We ain't gonna tell you what to do, but check it out, you know, and be on a real tip as opposed to telling somebody what to do, you know, because we didn't like it. We didn't like nobody telling us nothing to do. You know, kids don't like that, you know, so I wouldn't dare do that one, you know, because I hated it myself, you know. Matter of fact, that made me rebel that much more. You know, you just tell me I can't do something. You can't play no loud bass on no record. I wouldn't get the biggest amp I could get, you know, 18 cabinets, you know what I'm saying? Just to prove that you say I can't, you know, I can do more than that. I can go get me 18 cabinets, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, all of that's a form of rebellion, you know, but it helped me come up with a new thing, you know, so it's all in a positive thing, you know. It's the angle of the dangle, you know, how you looking at it, you know what I'm saying? How you view you. So that's what it's down to. Yeah.
Okay,